Hello, 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 and welcome. I want to talk today about timelines. I've never actually talked about timelines this way before in a podcast or a YouTube or anything else. So I'm really excited about this. We're going to see what comes out, what I channel through in this. But it's coming up right now because reality can change so quickly now. We're at a time where time is speeding up, if you can feel it. It's not an illusion. It's not because you're getting older. It's because time is actually speeding up. Now, one of the things that happens when you raise your consciousness, when you start to reclaim your power, when you come into alignment, is that it gets harder and harder to plan out into the future. We've been raised in this world that if you don't have a 5-year plan, if you don't have a 10-year, 15, 20-year plan, you were told you were irresponsible. Now that was in a time when timelines didn't change that much. So you could pick a point like where you are right now and then go out into the future and go, hey, I want to get out here in 10 years or 15 years. And because consciousness wasn't changing all that much, because energy wasn't moving and changing all as much as it is now, you could actually do that and you could lock into a timeline because that's what that is, right? It's a timeline. Now, that's never to say that was the best timeline for you or it brought you the most joy, but it was almost easier to do. You would lock into something and you could stay the course, come hell or high water, no matter what came at you. You could just keep going and moving on because that's how we were living in the energies that we had. You could lock into that timeline. Now, once you raise your consciousness, once you start choosing alignment, once you reclaim your power and you do all these things and you start using quantum principles to your advantage, because they're always working, they're always happening, but when you understand them and you actually start using them, you actually don't want to lock yourself into a timeline. It's the most interesting, funnest, most fascinating thing that happens is you actually don't want to lock yourself into a certain course. You don't want to look down the line and go, oh, 5 years, I'm going to be here. And it can feel a little bit disorienting at first, especially when we've all been living in a world that says, hey, you've got to know everything that's happening. You've got to plan, you've got to have control. You've got to have your hands, gripped tightly on that steering wheel. But when you raise your consciousness, what you realize is you don't actually want to because you are shifting timelines so quickly. Because every decision you make now, every time you choose yourself, every time you choose your alignment, every time you reclaim your power, your outer reality starts to shift. The quantum particles start to shift. You see, when you're not changing at all, what's happening is you just repeat the same cycles over and over again, right? You send the same signal out. The quantum particles bring the same reality back into you, right? That's how things used to work when you weren't changing. Once you start taking little steps, and I don't mean big steps, there's this notion out there that you need to take these giant leaps to change your reality. It's simply not true. Every single time you take a step where you reclaim your power, where you choose alignment, you choose yourself, you listen to yourself, you listen to your intuition, you listen to your internal guidance system, and you come out in the world that way, the quantum particles immediately start changing. And so it can feel sometimes like it's almost like you can never really land somewhere. It feels like you can't find a place to say, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to be doing it for the next 5 years. It doesn't happen because as you continually change, the signal you send out changes, the quantum particles change, and your reality keeps shifting. This isn't you doing something wrong. This is what happens when you change your frequency. Okay, the quantum particles are going to keep moving. And here's the thing about this. You want to stay in the moment because what that's actually teaching you, and all the great teachers from the past have all said this, live in the now moment, right? Choose the now, live in the now. It's because when you live in the now and you make decisions from where you are right now that are the best for you in this moment of now, it creates your future reality. But that also means that your future reality is constantly upgrading. So what can happen is you can feel like you never really get there, okay? Because you're constantly changing. Your reality is constantly changing. And you can feel like, when am I ever going to get there? But what you realize if you look back is that life is not the same. It's changed gradually. And that's actually what you want. Sometimes it does take big steps. I'm not saying that at all, but they'll feel natural. Like, oh, I need to move. And all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, the time is right. And you may have to like push yourself a little bit to kind of get yourself moving, but it feels right. It feels aligned. This is not about forcing anything. This is not about controlling things. But it can honestly feel like you're never going to get there. But when you look back, you realize I'm nowhere where I used to be. We lose track so quickly. When you raise your consciousness and you keep doing all these things, it is really easy to lose track. Like, I have been really reflecting on this lately. I want to share something with you here. Maybe you've noticed it. I'd love to hear in the comments. It's like, I can't even go into victim. Like, I used to live in victim. I mean, we were taught in this planet to live in victim consciousness, right? And if I even try to go in it, it's like something just comes up and stops me. It's like, and it's not even stops me. I'm having a hard time explaining it because it's a kind of a weird feeling. It's like I can't even access that anymore. That's what it's like. It's like I can't even tap into like that true victim. Like, I have no choice. Like, I have no control, and life is just happening to me. And looking out at the world and going, oh, it's all crappy and it's all awful and it's all these things. It's like I can't access that anymore. And when you start to change this much, it's important to look back every once in a while to see even just how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis. Are you feeling better overall? That's a big sign that your reality is changing too, right? Because your manifestations are a mirror reflection of who you are being and all your decisions and all the choices that you make, right? The steps that you take. So as you start to, pardon me, as you take more and more steps, if you're feeling different, that means your reality is changing. And what may happen is that it may not all of a sudden do this big jump. I think it's fun to think about a big jump, like one giant thing happening. It is entirely possible. Let me tell you, it is totally possible. But it's often you can change your reality by taking these small steps. And then next thing you know, you open your eyes and you're like, how did I get here? How did I get here? But it's important to realize that because you keep raising your frequency and the frequency on the planet is changing, your timelines are going to keep changing. They are. And that can feel, like I said, if you're not used to it, it can feel very weird. Or you could feel like there's something wrong with me. Like, why don't I have a plan together? Or somebody says to you like, hey, what's your plan on doing this? And how are you going to make this work? Or blah, 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 right? And they want to hear your 5-year plan. And you're just like, well, I don't really know. I'm just following my guidance. I'm just following my intuition. Because this is not going to make sense to other people, right? And it may not even make sense to you at times. Like, there's so many steps that I've taken where they don't make sense to me. When I look back, they make sense. Yes, 100% they do. Every single time I've looked back, when I've taken steps and I've done things and I'm like, I just feel like I need to do this. I'm being guided. My intuition's telling this. My higher self is telling me to do this. And I just go and I trust that. I don't often know where it's heading. It's just where I end up going. But when I look back, I always see how it got me to a better place. So part of this process is starting to be okay with this, starting to be okay with the fact that your reality may feel uncertain, okay? But here is a really, really key thing. Super important. When you reclaim your power, and I will keep saying this, when you choose alignment with the truth of who you really are, you build certainty within yourself. You see, we've been taught to find certainty out here, right? We control everything to make it predictable, to make our reality feel safe. When you reclaim your power and you choose alignment, you create certainty within yourself. This is a process, though. And so when reality starts to shift, because it will, because as you raise your consciousness, it is going to shift. But as you go through that process, what you do is you learn to lean in and trust the certainty within yourself. I've said this a million times. This world has conditioned us to trust everybody outside of us, to look outside of us and get all our validation from out here. When you reclaim your power and choose alignment, you build that trust within yourself and you become incredibly stable. So the world can do what it wants to, and it's going to, right? We can see the world, even like the world at large, is going to continue to change because it's changing timelines too, right? We are switching now so quickly. So stay rooted in who you are. Reclaim your power and choose it every single day. And just allow yourself to flip up to the new timelines. That's where the fun is. That's where the excitement is. That's where the cool new opportunities come in that you cannot plan with this linear logical mind. You will not be able to figure it out. You can't. It's impossible. That's not how this goes. That's the old paradigm. The new paradigm is you being open to every now moment, trusting your guidance, leaning into yourself and your alignment, and trusting the journey because it will keep unfolding one step after another. All right, beautiful soul. I'm going to put down my Reclaim Your Power Masterclass link down below. I always put the links down below here, but super powerful masterclass on how to do this. I'm also going to put the link to my one-on-one sessions down below as well. And if you liked this video, please like it, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I love hearing your comments. I really, really do. I love hearing your comments. So please share anything that you would love to share. I'd love to read it. I read everything. All right, beautiful soul. I will see you in the next video. Take care.